Hola, ¿cómo están, my compañeros? We need to listen to this. This is brought to you by the Salty Army.
President Trump has been buried in lead. I was in the room when President Trump, so at one point, Pat Cipollone and one of his...
Pat Cipollone is one of President Trump's lawyers. He is actually a lawyer that spoke in defense of President Trump during the impeachment charade. So Pat Cipollone is an ultimate snake in the grass.
Defense yelled at the president, stood up and was yelling at the president. I almost decked this guy. He's a rude little son of a bitch. And Flynn stood up. I mean, Flynn is a real gentleman, as gentlemanly as it gets. And he even took to his feet at one point at three lawyers who were screaming. And I went and ended up standing shoulder to shoulder with Flynn and facing off with these guys. There was almost a fist fight.
So it's this gentleman, Flynn, against all three of President Trump's own lawyers, his own lawyers.
President Trump said later, there's probably not been a meeting like this in 200 years in the Oval Office. I can tell you that I saw President Trump, Cipollone, the general counsel, said something like, if you don't even need me, you can just do this verbally. If you really want to appoint Sidney Powell special counsel, you can just say it.
Boom.
And after 15 more minutes of arguing, President Trump said, you know what? Cipollone said, you don't even need a pencil and paper if you want to do this. But if you do that, this and that. And 20 minutes later, Trump said, you know what? I've made my decision. Sidney Powell, you were appointed White House special counsel. And somebody objected, well, she needs a clearance, and that's going to take X many of this and that. And President Trump said, you know what? I have the ability to give a clearance with my word. I hereby give you a TSSCI clearance. This is done. Wow. This decision is done. We're going. The next day, Sidney Powell, this was in front of Mark Meadows, was on the phone.
Another one of Trump's lawyers. This was in front of the legal staff.
So
Mark Meadows is President Trump's chief of staff, I believe, and one of his lawyers as well, and is an ultimate snake in the grass. I think he left either Congress or the Senate to come and be on the cabinet, but he's somebody that I have trusted, but I guess he's a snake.
It was in front of myself, Flynn, Sdney, and General Flynn, Sdney, and the other lawyer, whose name, for her own security, I don't want to use. And the next day, Sidney Powell called Mark Meadows and said, well, now that I'm White House special counsel, I'm going to need an office at the White House. And Mark Meadows said, Sdney, I don't know if we can really do that. And Sdney said, well, okay.
I will leave the link in the description. But he goes on to describe the fact that Mark Meadows obstructs Sidney Powell.
So I can come and go. And Meadows said,
refuses her access to the president and to the pertinent areas that
so they are
she
directly are refusing.
Mark Meadows and Pat Cipollone are either playing some sort of game, or else they're extremely nefarious characters. I don't know. I can't even think of an excuse why would they would stand in obstinance. They said all they wanted to do was to get the president to concede. They said get him in concede mode, get him in concession mode. That's what his own chief of staff said. Where is their fight? Where is their courage? Where is their constitution, internal constitution? Where are their values? I think it's fine to lose the race. I think it's fine to win the race. But to have the race stolen by cheaters? No, cheaters never prosper.